Humanity currently spends billions of dollars and decades of engineering effort searching for microbial life on the dry, irradiated surface of Mars. Yet, we leave massive portions of our own planet completely unstudied. Right beneath our feet and oceans exist sealed biological time capsules. These are environments that have been physically cut off from the surface world and the sun for millions of years. Because of this extreme isolation, these environments act as natural quarantines. The biology inside is forced to develop along entirely separate, almost alien evolutionary paths to survive. But we rarely look closely at them. Extreme physical barriers like crushing pressure, combined with endless bureaucratic red tape and deliberate funding choices, mean we actively leave these profound scientific frontiers untouched. We operate under the assumption that we understand life on Earth, while walking right past independent evolutionary experiments hiding in the dark. Take San Dun Cave in Vietnam. It is so massive that a Boeing 747 could fly through its main chamber without touching the walls. It even has its own internal weather system, with clouds forming and raining on underground forests. Despite its scale, vast sections of its deepest passages and sumps remain entirely unmapped. The species living in its isolated darkness are undocumented, largely because scientific expeditions are subjected to strict government permits that are rarely granted. Moving from underground darkness to the ocean floor, the physical barriers become openly lethal. 7 miles down at the Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench, the water pressure exceeds 16,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush a submarine like an aluminum can. When the Trieste submersible descended in 1960, and again when Victor Vescova dove in 2019, the crews reported unidentifiable, moving shapes on the bottom. They spotted life in an environment considered entirely hostile to complex organisms. The scientific community at the time quickly dismissed the early sightings as misidentification. Today, requests to conduct comprehensive biological surveys of this Haddle zone are still repeatedly denied in favor of other budget priorities. Where absolute darkness and freezing pressure suggest life is impossible, biology finds a way to adapt. We simply refuse to fund the research to see how it does it. In 1986, workers testing the ground for a power plant in Romania accidentally broke through the limestone bedrock. They opened Mobile Cave, an environment that had been perfectly sealed off from the surface for 5.5 million years. The atmosphere inside is entirely lethal to humans. It sees zero sunlight, has less than half the normal oxygen of surface air, and is saturated with toxic hydrogen sulfide. This diagram illustrates the biological workaround inside the cave. While traditional ecosystems rely on photosynthesis, the bacteria here use chemosynthesis. They derive their energy entirely from chemical reactions in the toxic gas instead of solar power. 5.5 million years of isolated evolution produced 37 distinct species. Water scorpions, spiders, and leeches inhabit the cave, all completely pale, entirely blind, and existing nowhere else on Earth. The unique biochemistry of these chemosynthetic bacteria holds potential applications in both medicine and industry. However, because we prioritize strict access restrictions to prevent contamination over active research, the ecosystem remains largely unstudied. Buried beneath 2.5 miles of Antarctic ice lies Lake Vostok. It is a massive body of fresh water, roughly the size of Lake Ontario, that has been locked away for an estimated 15 million years. This cross-section shows the mechanism that keeps the lake liquid. The immense pressure of the overlying ice sheet lowers the freezing point of the water, while geothermal heat from the Earth's crust warms it from below. Because of that intense, sustained pressure, the oxygen levels trapped in the water are estimated to be 50 times higher than a normal surface lake. In 2012, Russian scientists finally drilled down to the water and retrieved samples containing extreme microbes. But there was a fatal flaw in the operation. They used toxic drilling fluids like kerosene to keep the hole open, which likely contaminated the pristine ancient water with modern organisms. We have the clean drilling technology and the robotic submarines required to explore this 15-million-year-old time capsule safely. What we lack is the funded commitment to actually deploy them. The toxic adaptations in Mobile Cave, Vostok's ancient subglacial microbes, and Mariana's high-pressure organisms prove that the boundaries of biology are far wider than we comprehend. These extreme hidden environments are the perfect earthly analogs for the extraterrestrial extremophiles we are hoping to find on icy moons like Europa. We are eager to spend billions to look millions of miles away for alien life, while ignoring the alien biology preserved right here on Earth. This gap in our knowledge is enforced by man-made barriers. We deny scientific permits, defund oceanographic agencies, and misalign our budget priorities to point outward rather than inward. We have the technology to reach the most isolated corners of our planet. These mysteries remain unsolved because we have collectively decided to look away.